Well, hello there, family. I didn't see you there. And welcome back to another edition of Midweek Moment with the Crenshaws. I am Sanchez Crenshaw, and as always, I am joined by the most wonderful person I know, the wind beneath my wings, the rib that completes me, the Diana Prince to my Stephen Trevor.
What is going on, family? What is going on? I am Angela Crenshaw, guys. What is going on?
That's my wife family.
Wonder Woman.
That's my wife family.
Woman. In case y'all didn't get it, I'm doing trivia. Everything is trivia with him. So I'm doing trivia.
Everything is not trivia with me.
So Diana Prince is Wonder Woman. Thank you for the compliment, babe.
Wow.
I just wanted to sing. It's probably why I wanted to sing.
You just wanted to sing?
Just wanted to sing. What's going on, baby?
No problem at all.
What's going on?
Nothing much. So family, as always, we just want to take time to just thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this journey. For our new family members, we just thank you guys for taking a chance on us, for listening. However you found us, whether it's iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Google Play, whether it's iHeartRadio or Amazon Music.
Come on now.
Or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com. We thank you guys so much for taking a chance on us. And for our returning family members, you already know how we feel about you. So guys, we just thank you for being a part. We thank you for allowing us into your home.
Yes.
We thank you for just taking a chance.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Alrighty then. And as always, we consider ourselves an interactive podcast.
Yes.
So what that means is that we can be found on the socials.
Come on.
We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. All in the Crenshaw Corner. And then you can also email us at any time at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
Yes.
Family, we always love hearing from you.
We love you. We love you. We love you.
You know what? There's one thing I did forget, though.
What's that?
Thank you for coming to the cookout.
Ooh.
And family, I hope you brought some aluminum foil.
So you can take something with you.
That's right. We said it before that one of the things we love to have fun on this podcast. We will go down rabbit holes from time to time. Our ending topic may not be the beginning topic.
The majority of the time.
The majority of the time.
But
one thing we always try to do is we always try to impart something. We always try to leave you with something. So therefore, bring the aluminum foil so you can what?
Take something with you, people. Take something with you.
There you go.
I was, when you were saying that, I was thinking about my aunt. I won't say her name. And she used to bring a piece of aluminum foil folded up in a Ziploc baggie, a big one. And when she got to the cookout, she would make her plate, put in her aluminum foil, put it in the baggie, put her name on it, and put it to the side, and then go make her plate.
That's what you got to do. Auntie was a trendsetter.
Yeah, okay.
Auntie out here starting trends. That's what you should do. That's how you do it.
No.
You get that initial one because you know you want to take something home. And you got to get that first one because if not, all the good stuff is done by the time you start packing up.
No.
So you got to get that good stuff out the way first.
You don't supposed to have aluminum foil in a Ziploc bag going to a cookout, y'all.
Auntie came prepared.
But I'm just saying, just bring some aluminum foil.
I'm just saying.
Kind of do like Auntie. Bring your aluminum foil in a Ziploc bag. Go ahead and get it.
Bags.
So, yes.
So, babe, what's up?
Okay, so listen.
What's on your lovely mind?
This subject, didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to talk about it. It's a touchy subject. Clutch your pearls.
Oh, Lord.
May not be a touchy subject for us, but it's a touchy subject for other people.
Okay.
So that's why it's been addressed, it's been asked, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. The question was, what do you do and how do you handle your in-laws?
Ooh. Oh, that's what we're doing out here. Oh, I thought we were trying to keep marriages together.
We are trying to keep marriages together, but this is the question. This is the question that's been asked for us to talk about. And yeah, go Sanchez.
Okay. Wow, so I gotta start this. All right,
you just go. Let's see where you go with this subject.
So let's do this two different ways. So
okay.
Let's talk about practical, and then we'll kind of get into more personal and talk about our experience.
Okay.
With in-laws.
Okay.
So how do you deal with the in-laws? First of all, you have to set boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You have to start with boundaries.
Yep.
And that means setting boundaries for not only your in-laws, but that means setting boundaries for your relationship itself.
Yeah.
So husband and wife and husband, setting boundaries within their relationship.
Right.
And then extending those boundaries outside to everyone else. I think one of the most common things is that because we always think that our family has our best interest at heart, so we have a tendency of oversharing a lot of the times. So my spouse gets mad at me, so I go share, I go talk to my mother, or I go talk to my siblings, or I go talk to auntie, I go talk to somebody I'm used to talking to about previous or past relationships.
Right.
And then and while you're venting, they're taking inventory.
Yeah, they got a score. They have a scorecard.
They have a scorecard.
Yeah, because they just waiting.
Yeah,
especially if they didn't like your spouse
from the beginning. And that is some cases sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
Where for whatever reason they don't like the person you're with.
Right.
So they're always looking for a reason to undercut that person.
Right.
So where you're going and you think you're venting, well, I'm mad right now, I just need to get it off my chest. So you go and vent to that person. Now 2 days later, you're not mad anymore.
Y'all just happy, peppy, bursting with love.
Right. Until that family dinner that person you vented to, they're still upset.
Right. They looking at him or her sideways.
And now they want to bring up some things you said.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's why I say you have to start with boundaries. You have to set those boundaries. What you got to add to it?
I don't. You know, the crazy part about, we talked not too long about, probably maybe Wednesday or Friday, about not communicating.
Yes.
And I think that's another thing that people who get together don't communicate about. What kind of family do you have? What kind of family do I have? You know, tell me what's the level of love for your mama? Let me tell you the level of love for my mama.
Yeah.
Like, and it's serious business, because we've talked to several people who, and it's just generalization, where men would quote mama boys, but not even mama boys, just that they're very close with their mom.
Right.
But she card blocked. She chumps the wife all the time. And so, like, what mama want, mama's gonna get. And then the wife just got to deal with it, you know? And so, because there was no conversation about that up front, about that relationship and what his mom meant to him, and how you as a wife is going to fit into that. And not even that, but do you want to even fit into that situation? You got to talk about that. I don't know why I'm tongue tied today, but you have to fit that in when you're dating. That's a dating conversation to have, seriously.
That's not one of the conversations, and a lot of people make this mistake. They wait until the situation comes up. They wait until they're married. They wait until that family dinner or the family reunion or Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever. And then the situation comes up, and now they're dealing with it.
And you like, I didn't know you were like that with your mom, or I didn't know you was like that with your dad or your sister or
your family
family as a whole.
Yeah, because talking personally, you know, we come from two totally different families. And that's one thing, because we didn't have that conversation.
We did not.
We learned the hard way.
Oh my gosh.
Where my family was quote unquote close, but we were nowhere near your family, where everybody is in everybody's business.
In my family,
everybody is in everybody's house. Everybody got keys to everybody's house. People coming and going.
Yes, we do.
You know, you turn around 1 minute, there's 45 people in the house. You don't know where they came from. You know, we
cook for everybody. We cook for family. Everybody come over for Sunday.
You know, you got 4 generations living in one home.
Yeah.
You know, where my family wasn't like that. We got together once a week.
Jeez.
And that was Saturday.
Jeez.
And we met at my grandparents' home. And the adults went whatever they did and went whatever they did. And, you know, my brother and myself, we would stay at my grandparents' house, or later on in life, I would stay at my grandparents' house. But it was, you know, we kind of talked throughout the week, but it was like I said, we saw each other once a week. And then we would see each other, of course, holidays, special occasions. But it wasn't like with your family.
Until you married me.
Every day. And it's like you on the phone with everybody every day. And it's like 3 or 4 different cousins calling back to back. And it's like 2 and 3 hour conversations every day. And it's like, yo, I'm not used to this.
Yeah, it was, and I wasn't used to the fact that, well, you live here in Charlotte, you ain't gonna go visit so and so. No. I'm like, how you not gonna go? We could be in the vicinity of where they live. I'm like, babe, no.
They don't know this call.
And I'm like, Oh my God. Like, it's like there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
And family, trust me, I'm not saying it's like it's a good thing. I'm not saying this is how you should be, but
I'm not saying it. We're not saying either way is good or bad. We're just saying
different.
It's just different in the reality of our relationship.
Because truth be told, I have family members in my same city. I have blood family members. We share DNA. I have not seen in years.
Yeah.
And we're talking about double digit years. I haven't
crazy.
seen. And my wife could not fathom that.
I can't. I don't even know what that is. Like, why would you? Because I would say to him, "Hey, babe, hey," but then he did it. He brought me around them.
Yeah, and you regretted it.
And oh my goodness.
And you regretted it.
It was, you know what it was? I think when it comes to in-laws, I think that for me coming into your family dynamic, because you guys are very close. Like, it's not, y'all not trying to be close. Y'all are very close. It's just that y'all have a different way of doing things.
It's a different closeness.
And so when I came on the scene, it was like, why? Because to be honest, the way that your family was set up is that you had a child with someone.
Right.
You know, because people know that we're a blended family. You had a child with someone, and that is who you're supposed to marry. There should be no marrying anybody else. Ooh. And it was, they just made sure that I understood the concept. Put it like that. Made sure I understood. And I think that you have to be mindful of having these conversations and then making sure that you're protecting each other. I think that's another thing. I protect my husband, he protects me. Period. Straight across the board. And I think that a lot of couples don't do that.
Nah, and it's one thing that, and we've talked about this young lady a lot on the podcast. One thing Judge Judy always says.
Did you say young lady?
Yeah.
Did you say Judge was like a young lady?
Yeah, young lady.
Okay, go carry on.
There's certain episodes even though I watch pretty much every episode.
Yes, you do. More than one time.
But there's certain cases of hers I will not watch.
Uh-huh.
And only because it irks me. Mm-hmm. And it's only because of her mentality when it comes to marriage and blended families.
You don't like something that Judge Judy does?
I don't.
That's a miracle.
I don't like her viewpoint
on that.
On blended families, on marriage. One thing she'll always say, like if it's a husband and wife, if the court case is dealing in family, and it's like a husband and wife, on the defendants are the what's the P word, plaintiffs, and they're like suing either their parents or the parents are suing their kids, whatever.
Right.
One thing she always says is like, well, look at this person beside you. Mm-hmm. Marriages in America, they have a 50-50 chance of working. Mm-hmm. Odds are you won't see this person. You won't even remember this person in 20 years, but you only get one mother and father. Mm-hmm. And in theory, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. But mom and daddy ain't right all the time.
All the time. Because we're not right all the time.
And what happens is that because we feel like mom and daddy are right all the time, and mom and daddy have a right to say whatever they want.
And treat people
however they want. And now you have strife in your marriage. Because and I do this from time to time. Husbands, let me peep you to a little game. Just a little game. The moment your wife does not feel secure and protected, you've lost her.
It's a problem.
And I'm not necessarily saying that she's going to pack up and leave, but you've lost her mentally. You've lost her emotionally.
Yes, you have.
Because she has to feel secure. She has to feel protected from everything and everybody. That means it's not only does she feel like if a stranger breaks into the house, you're going to protect her? No, but what if your mother says something flip to her?
Right.
What if your father says something out of the way? What if a family member treats her out of the way?
Right.
And we have a tendency of saying, because that's so-and-so.
That's just how they are.
That's just how they are.
Oh, that's just how my mom is. No.
Yeah, she just loves me. She's just real protective. And so but we forget, mom's great. Love mom. I'm not saying anything about mom. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for mom. But if mom is out of order and something she says to the woman that I've devoted my life to, there's a problem.
It is a problem. And vice versa. If wives, you just can't be letting cousin Ray and them, or your uncle or your dad or anything like that, just roll up on your husband and want to speak to him very disrespectfully. And another thing about family, which what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word you used?
Grind my gears.
Grind your gears. Is the fact that for some reason, and this is why you can't tell everybody everything, and you can't bring everybody around everybody. They have a tendency of talking about your past girl. Now you married, past girlfriends, I remember when you
past relationships,
and it's intentional. They're doing it intentional. They do it on purpose. And so you got to be careful and protect each other, protect your marriage, and protect each other. And it's one of those things that is very difficult. We knew going in early in the game that there was some protection happening. Yeah, there was.
Because I recall early in our relationship and our marriage that there was this one particular family member that took it upon themselves to decide they want to tell me your whole catalog.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is that about?
And just run through every relationship
that I had.
I'm like, okay, but please tell me your point in this.
Yeah, because this is the thing. I think that sometimes family think that it's funny or it's a joke. I don't know whatever that's about, but it's not for the new person coming in. And I think that when the question was, how do you handle in-laws? First of all, you handle in-laws with respect, and you sit down with them and you give them, this is what it is. This is my marriage. This is where we're going with it. This is how it's going to be. And if you cannot respect it, then maybe you won't see me for a while.
Yeah.
Because it has to be it's a matter of being respectful to the person that I love, the person I married, the person that I chose. And I want you to be a part of it. I don't want to cut you out of it. I don't want you not be a part of what I'm enjoying. I need you to be a part of it. But if you cannot respect my wishes and respect the person that I marry and that I love, then I got to cut you off. And that's just me. Again, that may not be for everybody, but I know that that's for me personally.
And okay. And I already hear the other side of the argument. Already hear, but this person ain't no good, or this person is that, so I'm just trying to keep it 100. I know what's best for them. That's not always the case. Mm-hmm. That's not always the case. It's not up to you to tell me if the person I'm with is good or bad for me. Now, of course, there's some caveats to that.
If I open the door, for you to tell me something.
If I open the door,
ask for your advice, then
you can always go to the extreme because there are extreme situations.
Right.
If it's physical abuse, mental abuse, it's different. It's different scenarios for that.
Right.
But we're just talking about the regular degular.
Regular degular.
The everyday relationship.
Yeah.
Nobody slapping nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody cussing nobody out.
Yes.
We just going through life, and the in-laws think they know what's best. So how do you counteract that? First of all, you got to be a united front.
Yes, you do.
That's first of all. You have to be a united front.
From day one.
It has to be a situation where they know they can't divide you.
Yes.
Because it's an old saying, but it still holds true. A house divided cannot stand.
Will fall every time.
And family will do that.
Like, you can come over, but don't bring him.
Yeah, I ain't coming then.
Then I ain't coming. What the? Is you... And that's okay. And that also shows your spouse disrespect. You see what I'm saying? Like, well, babe, I'm gonna go over there. How do you think that make them feel? You're gonna go. Well, my mom want me to come over. She really don't like. She don't. She said me, not you. What? No, we're not doing that. Yeah. We're not doing that.
There are certain. And one thing we always try to be honest on this podcast. There are certain family members I don't deal with now to this day because it was a family function. Someone who I had not seen in 20 some odd years that came into town, and we went, or we were invited to go. And the crazy part, I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
You talked me into going.
Because I believe in family.
You believe in family.
I do.
You talked me into going. We went. And the entire time, they only tried to speak to me. They would not acknowledge you. They would not speak to you. When you tried to speak to them, they acted as though you were not there. And so I kindly got my wife and I left, and I haven't been back. Because the one thing you're not going to do, there's no way you can tell me that you love me and then mistreat the person that I love.
Right, absolutely.
Mistreat the mother of my children.
Right.
Mistreat the woman that under God I've devoted my life to.
Right.
to mistreat the woman who you prayed for me that I would get at a young age.
Right.
And then once God blessed me with this person, because it's not in the package that you thought it should be in.
Exactly. That you thought it should be in. Exactly.
So you try to mistreat her.
Yeah.
So in my mind, how do I do that? How do I sit in a situation where the woman that I love is being mistreated? Now I have to go home with this person.
Right.
And now I have to deal with the aftermath. And I have to look in her face, and she looks to that look where you didn't protect me.
Right.
You know, you didn't look out for me.
Right.
You allowed them to mistreat me.
Right.
And why? Because they're family?
Right.
I thought I was family too.
Right. I thought I was the family.
You know, I thought I was the
family. Exactly.
Now, and I get it. All situations, and like for us, we have a very strange dynamic.
We do.
Because, and once again, truth being told, from Angie's side of the family, we have no problems.
I mean, let me say something to y'all. When I got married to this wonderful man, called our parents, hey parents, we come to New York. My mom said no problem. Pop said no problem. Have a little cookout. Just a little cookout.
Yeah, just a little.
Grandma, just a little cookout, you know, at the house. You know, my parents had a brownstone backyard, front yard, all of that good stuff. Just a little cookout, just to say congrats, and just let the family meet him. Y'all pulled up in front of the house. Stoop, as people know if you're from New York, stoop full.
45 people on the stoop.
Front of the yard full.
Another 16 people in
house
the front yard.
Full.
Another 355 people.
Backyard full.
Another 400 people in the
and
backyard.
And if it was not more than nothing a special touch, my children's father was invited.
Sitting there like the king he is. Sitting there like the king he is. That's my dude, though. I love that guy.
I know you do. You love him for real. You love him.
That's my guy.
Yo. See, just looked at me. I looked at him. Welcome to the family.
Yeah.
Well,
because
family. There was nothing at that point that he can do.
We there now.
But my family, I went to the backyard, came back to find my husband.
In a cipher. Now,
all my cousins.
Now, understand, family. So, it was like a bad 80s movie. Like, I'm in a cipher, I'm in the middle, and I'm surrounded. I'm not a small guy, but I was surrounded by some of the biggest dudes I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not talking about overweight dudes.
No.
I'm talking about like bounce a quarter off their stomach dudes. I mean like dudes that have spent all their life, they came out the womb and went straight to the gym. These type dudes. And it's like,
listen,
it's like 10, 11, like it's crazy numbers. And like in a cipher, and I'm just being grilled from left to right.
Yes, and he better be able to answer quick too.
And the crazy part, out of all that, it was only one person that I was actually afraid of.
One girl.
It was the female cousin.
my cousin. She's passed away, but
Tiny.
Boy, Tiny.
Tiny is the only one that I was afraid. Tiny was only like 4'11".
She wasn't as tall as me. She was as tall as me.
And she was the only one. But even through it all, even through the grill, even through the interrogation, all I felt was love.
Yeah.
All I felt was from acceptance and love from day one.
Yeah. They loved you. Even like now, it's like everybody just was like, we're seeing Chaz like, you know, he married into the family, but they love him. My family was just like, if this is who she loved, plus they knew that they just knew that this is who I love and this is who I married. I'm a force by myself.
Yeah,
I'm a force by myself. That's all I'm saying. They knew that. No.
Yeah.
Don't. This is not going. If you do the wrong,
special breed.
Don't do that. And so that's what he got. But what I got from his side was, again, and taking nothing from them. That's what their feeling was, because you never can be mad at people's perspective.
Nah, as much as you want to be,
you cannot.
Really can't be angry about somebody's perspective.
And a couple of their perspective, and he hates when I say this, and he was like, I don't care, but I saw their point of view. First of all, I was 10 years older than him. already came with 3 sons. They felt that he should stay with his children, his daughter's mom, because she was like 1.5 at that time, almost 2.
Yes, like almost. No, she's 2.
She was 2.
She's 2.
And they felt like he wasn't making a great decision, and plus he had been married before, and it didn't go well. So
that was a trial marriage, though.
It was a trial marriage.
Yeah, the expiration went up on that. It was a trial marriage.
So they thought that they knew what was best for him, and they had his best interest at heart. So I was not coming through. And the thing about it is, these women, because it was all women, he adore, love. They have prayed over him.
Still do.
But they just didn't. The walls would not come down. And it's so crazy because it's been almost 21 years and the walls are still hard to bring down.
And that's because, I'm sorry for cutting you off. And it just hit me. This could have been all different, and it would have been all different if they would have just done one thing. Talk to me. Nobody talked to me. Everybody made these assumptions. Everybody made, like you said, everybody had their perspective, and they ran with it. Nobody sat down and talked to me.
Right.
Because even if you would sit down and talk to me and told me, you know what, Chaz, I don't agree with what you're doing. Here's my reasons why I don't agree with it. And we had that conversation. We had an adult conversation.
Right.
It could have went different.
Right.
But instead, you had your biases. You held your grudges, and you mistreated the person I love.
Right.
And we're not the only family members. We're not the only people listening to this podcast,
right,
who had that experience.
Exactly.
Where all you had to do was just talk.
Right.
But for whatever reason, family doesn't feel like they have to do that.
No.
They don't feel like they have to give you an explanation,
right,
or express themselves or have open dialogue.
Right.
It's just, I feel this way, I'm family, you should deal with it, you should run with it, right, and this is what should be done.
And especially if it's your parents, they just feel like this is what it is and this is what is and what is going to be, and it really just does not work that way. And for me, it was so crazy because for me, I was just like, babe, try. I won't go visit. Because I just love families. I'm like, I won't go visit. I want you to continue. I don't want to break that relationship. I don't want that relationship to end. And he was like, you're my family. You're my wife. These are my kids. And that's it. And I tried my best. I was like, well, babe, just try and do this and doing that. And he just wouldn't budge on it. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, because I was willing to, I'm a stay homer. I'll stay here for you to still have those relationships. And, you know, the funny part about it, then our children became adults.
Yeah.
And they got into relationships, and they've all been in long relationships. And I make sure my best, and Sanchez make sure we mind our business. We just kind of like agree, disagree. I mind my business. I'm there to be supportive. I'm there to be a listening ear. Like we tell you all the time, we always ask our kids, are you venting or do you want me to say something? Yeah. Because that's a choice, because sometimes it's just venting. We don't keep scorecards. We don't care. The moment you finish talking to me, that went out my ear and it's over. And I think because of our experiences, that has taught us that that's not how we handle that. That's because we parents don't mean that we have a right to do that to our children or do that to somebody that they love.
There's a old saying in sports. It's playing down to the competition. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that you're a better player than the person you're playing against. Mm-hmm. But instead of you playing your game, mm-hmm, you play a lesser game and you play down to their level. Mm-hmm. And here's why I say that. Because what I've noticed a lot of times when we're dealing with in-laws and you're dealing with family,
yeah,
instead of that person, that husband or that wife, forcing their family to play up to their level,
right,
they go down to their family's level
every time.
And I'll expound on that. Instead of forcing your family to respect your relationship,
right,
or respect your spouse,
respect your decision.
Respect your decision. Which, the thing about decisions, you don't have to agree with my decision,
right?
But you're going to respect
my decision. Amen.
And what happens is that people will allow their families, and you touched on it earlier, to disrespect their spouse, mm-hmm, or disrespect their relationship, or disrespect And when you do that, you're bringing in this extra thing into your relationship. And now in 5 or 6 years, you're wondering why your spouse has become distant, or why your spouse is not vulnerable to you anymore, why your spouse is not open to you anymore.
Right.
You know, and you start to wonder these things, and what you don't realize, it's because you set the foundation. Because, once again, and I'll say this, and I'm saying this to the gentlemen who are listening, if your wife does not feel protected, and that actually goes both ways, even as a husband. If
your husband doesn't feel respected, it's going to be a problem, because you open the door. When you tell your business to your family members, if you're not careful, you open the door to opinions and everything else, and you open the door to them to have scorecards. And so what you do at that point is you've given your family an opportunity to disrespect your husband. And if your husband does not feel respected, ladies, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a problem.
And I've seen it where the disrespect is real, even in his own home.
Right.
Where they've allowed the in-laws, or they allowed the family to disrespect them in their own home. And because they
did not come here.
And because they love you, they don't say anything.
They
let it go, and they swallow it.
But it's poison.
It is.
They're poison. The husband is poisoning himself.
Because, I don't know, maybe certain topics is really not good for me to discuss, because maybe I look at things differently than a lot of people.
Right.
I'm willing to lose it all for my wife. I'm willing to lose it all for my kids.
Right.
Because I look at it as, because this is the person under God that I said that I'm devoting myself to.
Right. That
I pray with, that I go to church with, that I serve with, that I fall in my faith, but I raise up again with. You know, this is the person. So to allow anybody to come against that person, I can't. I'd rather stop talking to you.
Yeah.
I'd rather cut you out of my life altogether.
Right.
Because the one thing I will never do, I will never have my wife look at me in the face and ever ask me the question, why didn't you protect me?
Why didn't you protect me? And I never want where you're going to ask me. And I'm just talking to the ladies, and this is not all the time. Sometimes you're going to have to take this. Not some. Let me backtrack. All the time. When it's a situation between you and your spouse, you need to take it to God. Take that to God first. Go in your prayer closet and pray about that. Don't automatically get on the phone and call your mama, your cousins, your aunts, and all of them. Because I'm telling you right now, it's not good. You open the door to something that you can't close, because at that point, especially if your spouse finds out that you told them things, the things that you've said about him, he can't trust you at that point. And if he can't trust you and he know you disrespected him, you're going to have a problem, because now you have just brought distrust in your marriage. You know, you brought disrespect into your marriage. So you have to be careful. So the best way to keep, when people say, what's the best way for my in-laws? Keep them out your business. Take that to God. Take that to the Lord. I don't need to run to anybody. I need to go talk to the Lord, and then let the Lord deal with me, my attitude, and what part that I play in that role. And then I need to go talk to my husband. And then we need to communicate. And if he don't want to talk, I pray again, go back, because I tell my Father, Jesus, Lord, God, let me holler at you about your boy, and then I'm gonna go back. But telling everybody my business and telling people so they can, and also, ladies, just remember this. They like people will throw stuff back up in your face, and this is just general. This is not everybody. So don't be like, no.
Every family don't have these situations. Every in-laws are not the in-laws from hell.
No, but I will say this: we've been asked this over and over again, so that tells us
there's a trend.
There's a trend.
There's
a problem. There's an issue that needs to be taken care of. So my answer to that is keep people out of your business. Talk to the Father about it, and then communicate with your husband or your wife before you decide, because fellas do the same thing. Go tell their mother and their sisters everything, and then they looking at the wife all crazy and then speaking to her very disrespectfully. So you have to be careful.
And I'm gonna say this, and this is probably not gonna be a popular opinion,
Opinion.
I don't really care. But gentlemen, there are some of you that's listening to me right now that needs to have a conversation with your moms.
Yes.
That you need to sit down and have a real, honest conversation with your moms. And it's because how she's handling your wife is not right.
Yeah.
Because if it was anybody else that was not your mom's and they were treating or talking to your wife or saying things about your wife that's currently being said, it wouldn't fly. You wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
There would be some furniture moving. You'd have some problems.
Without the movers.
Without the movers. But because it's your mom's, then you let it go. And fellas, trust me, that's not good. Especially if you are a man that plans on being with your wife. You plan on growing old. You plan on building. You plan. This is not a fly-by-night relationship. This is not you not just doing something. You are committed to your wife. You're committed to your relationship. You're committed to building. You're committed to growing.
Right.
You got to sit down and have a real conversation with your moms, and she has to understand that she's no longer the first woman in your life.
She's not the first lady to church. Okay?
She's not the first lady.
She's just
anymore.
not the first lady to church.
It doesn't mean that you don't love her.
Right.
It doesn't mean that she's not special.
Right.
It just means her role has changed.
Yeah, and she gonna have to pivot.
Because what happens, and this goes for a lot of parents, is that as time progresses, they don't realize their role has changed, has shifted. Because you'll always be a parent, but there's levels to this.
Yes, it is.
There's levels to your parenthood. There's different roles and different hats that you take on as your child becomes older.
Right.
And a lot of parents don't accept that. And it's not until you sit down in a respectful manner.
That's right. Respect your parents.
Because the one thing I would never tell anybody to do
disrespect
is
their parents.
Disrespectful to their parents.
That's right.
Because the Bible say that you got short days, you being disrespectful. It's not what I'm saying. It's honor thy mother and thy father. That's not what I'm saying. Will be long. So your days will be long. But within that honor, there has to be an honest conversation.
Yeah.
There has to be an adult conversation. Because gentlemen, until you show your moms how much this woman really means to you,
right,
and how much you're willing to sacrifice for her, she's gonna continue down the same road.
Yeah. So you have to be careful. I always think about this when you were just saying that for guys, because it just cracks me up, fellas. You got a wife, your mama gonna get old. And normally, if you're a good son, you're not gonna put your mom in the home.
She coming to live with you.
She coming to live with you. And that same wife. That's all I got to say about that. With that same wife. Now you could take that any kind of way you want.
Take it.
But just listen to hear my heart. That same wife, mama getting old, and she coming home to that same wife to live with, that she wants you and her to take care of her. So I'm just saying, think about that. And the same thing for ladies. Don't let your brothers, your dad, your uncle step to your husband like he not a grown man, like he less than, off of something that you said in the heat of the moment, or that you shared with maybe your mom and she told your dad, or vice versa, or whatever. Be very, very, very careful, because again, if your husband cannot trust you, that means that he can't be vulnerable and honest with you. You just lost any line of communications that you could possibly get.
Yeah.
That line has officially been locked. Clank, 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 clank. And then if he feels disrespected, where you're making him feel less than a man, then at that point, you lost the very foundation of what you can have for your marriage. So again, we're just saying, talk to your family about boundaries before you get married. If you're already married, then go have, like Cynthia said, go have them conversations right now, because this can be causing strife. Like you said, it's a trend for people. And I think that it can be causing strife. And then you got to have a made up mind too, to know what you want. You're not a little girl anymore.
No,
you're not
a little boy anymore.
You're a grown person doing grown people stuff. So you put away your childish stuff. You can't be a little boy or a little girl when you get around your mom and your dad. When you got a whole husband and a whole bunch of kids and a whole family, you're going to have to stand up and rise up in a respectful manner, like Sanchez said, and tell your family, here's my boundaries. This is what I will tolerate, and this is what I will not tolerate. And if you feel that you can't handle what I'm saying, then there's nothing else for us to talk about. Bottom line.
Yeah.
That's my final thought, and I just want to say it before I said it.
That's your final thought? Mm-hmm. So my final thought, I'm gonna just echo what you said. It's just, my final thought is boundaries of communication.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be afraid to have the hard conversations. Mm-hmm. Life is about the hard conversations. Mm-hmm. The only way you're gonna excel in life, the only way you're going to live a fulfilled life, live a fulfilled life, the only way you're going to live a fuller life is by having those hard conversations. And right now, there's somebody listening to me that needs to have that hard conversation, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your moms, whether it's with your dad, whether it's with your there is somebody in your circle as we sit and speak that you need to have a hard conversation with.
Absolutely.
And have the hard conversation.
Have it so you can just go on about your business and live your best life.
Yeah.
Because communication is going to help you with that. Seriously.
Always. So, Bae?
Yes.
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
I think we're done.
Hopefully we answered the question. I don't know. You think we answered the question?
We'll see.
We'll hear from somebody.
We'll hear from somebody. If we didn't answer the question, we'll hear from somebody.
We hope that we did. We wait.
Yeah, what you just said.
Hopeful?
Yeah, right there.
I don't think that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what you said. I was in the kitchen when you said it.
Okay, well, I'm just not going to talk no more. How about that?
So, family, as always, we just thank you guys so much for listening. Like we said, hopefully we gave you something that you can take with you. We just appreciate you, however you're listening to us, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's on Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Google Play, whether it's iHeartRadio, whether it's Amazon Music, or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshaw.com. Once again, what is that?
What is you saying?
.thecrenshaw.com. That actually is our web. That actually
Are you
is
sure?
our web address. It is. That's our web address.
Good?
I feel good about it.
Okay, carry on.
Our email address is
The
Crenshaw Corner.
Come on now.
At gmail.com. Once again, The Crenshaw Corner.
I'm praying for you.
At gmail.com.
I'm praying for you.
We are interactive. That means we're on the socials. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, all under The Crenshaw Corner. And family, as always, just welcome to our journey.
We love you guys. Bye.